Hello and welcome back to the Refined Teenage Perspective. I'm Aryan Ghoshali and I'm joined by Veer Sandhu and Johar Ali.
Hello.
Hello.
All right, so today is episode 8, and we're actually almost very close to episode 10. And I think after episode 10 is when we release season 2, right? That's when we start season 2. I
Yeah.
think episode 10 or 12. We haven't decided yet, but
I think we'll keep it at
we're getting
10 for
close.
every like
Yeah,
season and we'll change.
Yeah, but the point is we're getting very close. So that's very cool. It's been a very like this started out off on a whim, and now we've been going on for like a long time, very almost
Airline.
basically like consistently. So
Yeah, I
there's
think
been a
we haven't
We
missed
haven't
a
couple.
missed a
week,
single
so
week,
that's
yeah.
We haven't
we
missed a
haven't.
week, but sometimes we've missed recordings, which isn't that bad.
But
Sometimes
our
like
record
the thing
our
with
upload
recording
dates
is
are
we need yeah, but the thing with recording is we need to like be in the mood to record. Otherwise, like the actual like thoughts and
Yeah,
ideas won't
and
like
the
flow
quality is not
properly.
good basically. That's basically.
Exactly. So, but
I've noticed that.
today we are like the topic for today is going to basically be about luck and how, well, like every episode, we'll obviously be talking about how how luck can affect your everyday life. And we're not just talking about like your basic probability. We're going to be comparing like things like a coin flip to what's the term called?
What do you
Or the
mean?
word? What was that thing we were saying in the beginning? We were comparing. We weren't just gonna talk about like we can talk about coin flips and then
Hmm?
compare that to like I can't remember now, but it'll come to me eventually. But my point is, we're not gonna be just talking about small
Probability,
probabilities like that.
plausibility.
Like we're talking about like like
Big,
things
you
that
mean like
We're gonna
bigger
apply
events that
luck
luck
and
plays a
how it
role in?
compounds
yeah,
in
exactly. Thank you.
Mhm.
Bigger like I don't know the word. I had a word for it,
like the
but I don't
butterfly
remember it
effect.
now.
You're basically trying to
Yeah,
how
that's
luck
also I feel
compounds
like
from. Yeah.
yeah. It doesn't just like any place where like luck can take event into your like a normal like everyday life. We're gonna try and cover kind of like the general specifics of that.
The ideas are
Yeah,
just
So
that
coming
makes
to
sense.
me.
let's start by talking about
Wait,
what
how about this? Okay,
exactly.
Sure.
wait, but
Okay,
before
yeah, go for it.
I was gonna say because I mean I don't think we need to explain much on luck. It's just chance. It's like a coin flip but more complex. There's more outcomes
A
and the
luck
coin is
Yeah,
put
is
more times.
what luck people commonly refer to as luck is a probability that is in their favor that was unexpected. Essentially, like it was like
I guess, yeah.
it would be like if you wanted to
Or
flip
or
a
or,
coin
or it
and
could
wanted
or it could be it could also it doesn't have to be in their favor. It could
it
also
doesn't. Well,
not be
yeah,
in their
I'm
favor.
saying like the commonly used way of it, but yeah,
Oh, I
it could
see.
be
So
in
so
anyone's
good luck
favor.
basically.
Yeah, good luck. So like for example, if you wanted a coin, if you wanted when you wanted to flip a coin, you wanted to land on it's a ridge, it's like it's a rim,
Yeah.
it's like its thickness side, which is like a
Mm.
0.0001% chance, right? That's insanely lucky that would happen. Or maybe it's not lucky because you flipped your coin a billion times. And you know what? Can I just start into the actual topic, like
yeah,
the
go for it.
breadth of it?
Yeah.
So, okay, if like just from saying that, right? We say things are lucky, right? When stuff
Hmm.
happens, like for example, if a mark that you get in school is unexpected, right? Perhaps because your teacher was feeling somewhat generous because of some reason, you'd say, "Oh, that's kind of lucky in your favor," right?
Yeah, I guess that. Yeah.
Um, but the thing is, we only say it's lucky because that's all we can actually see of the actual, I guess, like the overall luck in the
Yeah,
world. Because we can only see a
because we don't
small,
have any other explanation for it, so we just
y-
say, "Whoa, that's
yeah,
lucky."
we no, no, like we only
Mhm.
see a small sphere of the probabilities that happen in the world, right? Because it's our
That's
in
true.
our
Yeah.
world,
If
we, hmm?
if we could see if we could I was gonna say like if we could see all the like factors or yeah I get factors or features that are like in like taken into account, then luck we wouldn't
Mhm.
like use luck that common because it's just basically it's just
Exactly.
normal probability, but then
Yeah, we wouldn't
luck still does
use.
have like a effect into it.
Yeah,
So like most of the time, luck is usually like by our norms, it's something you usually don't have control on, like flipping a coin. Like how are you gonna
yeah,
control if it lands on heads or tails? You don't. It's just by chance luck. So it's basically like a probability you can't control. And
exactly.
like to be
Like
honest, that concept of something that you can't control
is quite
actually happens a lot in
difficult.
our life,
Hmm?
and it can cause very big effects. And if we want to start on that, then
I
I
feel like
guess the
everything's
first
out of our
the
scope,
first
though.
like what are you gonna say?
Okay, so like okay, so a coin flip, right? Let's just say you know what? Let me just build up an entire like sequence of events and make it into
Mm-hmm.
something grandiose to give it into perspective, okay? And it's gonna sound a little bit stupid because it's not quite fleshed out because I'm making it up as we go on. So like let's just use a coin flip for example, the butterfly sequence, the start of the butterfly event, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say me us three, me, Ar, and Veer, are having a conversation a year in the future, and we're just talking about luck again. We're just reflecting on this podcast, and we're like, all right, you know what? Let's just flip a coin for the sake of it, right? And the
Yeah.
unthinkable happens, and there's been a billion coins flipped in the history of humanity, and this time it landed on its ridge or its rim, right? We would be like, wow. And you know what? Maybe we're like, you know what, dude? Maybe luck is actually something worth looking into, right? And we just kind of go into just like, I don't know, maybe we go into some kind of field of mathematics that focus a lot on that and its application. And I don't know,
Yeah.
okay. And then maybe we become particularly notable at this field, right? And then what our discoveries lead to something big, right? And like for example, Einstein's discoveries, probably his passion for science might have started from the smallest of things, and it led to him being basically the sole perpetrator of the reason nuclear bombs exist, right? And let's just say a
Mm-hmm.
similar situation occurred with our newfound love for luck and the mathematics involved, and something like that occurred, right? Now we've got a huge grand scale event
Oh.
that happened because of our actions, simply because so many coins have been flipped in the history of humanity that eventually one of them has to land on its ridge. And it just happened to be us three, and it just happened so that it just happened, like it's just the butterfly effect. It just started from the littlest things. We just started because we just wanted to talk about this. The entire thing just
Yeah.
started because Aryan wanted to do a podcast, and boom, now we were the, yeah, like,
Mm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I get what you mean. You're basically saying that like if you change one small event, that can like cascade and change the luck on
Yeah,
everything else. Like
that's
for example, like even from like the day you're born, you can't the luck you're given on what family you're born into. Even like I don't know sensitive topics that could be like I don't know your like race, gender, and things
hmm
like that. Those are all things that you can't control, which is the reason it doesn't make sense to discriminate people for that, which is why there's all these movements and we
yeah.
agree with them
I found
because
them quite.
again because like there's no reason someone should be like I don't know discriminated against or I don't know made fun of for something they can't control, which again the only chance that they have to control is just like it's a coin flip, it's luck, you can't do
hmm
anything about it. It's like making fun of someone for getting heads when you got tails, like
Yeah,
there's no basis or justification on that. It
exactly.
doesn't really
That's a
make
very
sense, but,
good
but like
analogy of
like
it.
every other event that there is, you might not think of it, but there's like a lot of luck. Like for example, let's say like the school you're going to, that was also a lot of luck. Like your parents choose to move in that location, and someone
hmm
choose to build the school there, and
But the thing is,
your friend's parents chose to live near there as well. But
luck only exists because of like relativity, right? And relative to your world, it's lucky, right? But like, even
mm,
regardless of whatever school you went to, you'd say that it was lucky that you went to whichever school you went to, regardless, or unlucky.
yeah, because you don't have all the outcomes. You only
Yeah,
have
you
one
don't have
outcome.
all the outcomes. You just have the one outcome that you live in, and that's the only reason
Yeah.
luck
So
is even an
how are
option.
you supposed to know? It's like flipping a coin, but you don't know what's on the other side. It's
Exactly.
just like a one-sided coin.
But
Not
also,
that that would exist, but
I was just thinking about, because I was just reflecting on, you wrote something for the ideas of the podcast. One of them was like, no, there's no such thing as natural talent, right? No one's born
yeah,
superior or inferior to the other. But it just so
yeah,
happens that there's people who are born with immense disabilities and immense problems in their life concerning their health. And some babies die just at birth, and
yeah,
that's insanely unlucky. But in the grand scale of things, if you're looking at it from the perspective of the entire world, you're like, you know what? Just in terms of numbers and probability, there's been 108 billion people on the history of on the history of the earth. It's bound to happen that someone dies, right? But
yeah.
it happened. So then, in the context of society itself, what role do you think luck plays? Because even though luck is very relative to the spheres of control, spheres of influence that perceive the luck around them, that perceive the events that happen as a result of the luck, right? Everything in our world, if we weren't alive, then we wouldn't say that we were unlucky. We wouldn't say that we're lucky to be alive, or lucky to exist,
Mhm.
right? Because if we weren't alive, we wouldn't the universe wouldn't exist. The universe only
Yeah,
exists because we perceive it.
we want to be able to have this conversation. We
Yeah,
wouldn't even have a consciousness. So how would we determine if something goes unlucky if we're not even there? That's
exactly.
The cool
There's
thing
basically it.
about all of that is too, it's completely unpredictable. Like
That's true.
you could be extremely lucky one day, and then the very next day you could have the worst day like ever,
hmm
just because I don't know,
But
you
the,
like
the
trip in the
only way you
morning
can
or
predict it is influence your outcomes. And again, even if you do everything in your power, there's still a small chance that it can go wrong.
well,
a
here's the
small
thing.
thing that can make everything go wrong. Yeah,
Even like influencing your outcomes, right? I think like you can easily cope with just say unluckiness, for example, by just changing your mindset towards what happens. Obviously,
exactly.
in
Yeah.
some situations, like things you can't really, it's just genuinely like this really sad what could happen, right? But like if you just but like in smaller situations, like if you say wake up in the morning and I don't know get gum stuck in your hair, or like you I don't know, you trip and fall in the shower and hurt your ankle really bad. If you
hmm
just change your mindset to like say, oh, I mean, there are like 10,000 other things that are worse that could happen. I feel like that makes just your situation a whole lot better. And
You know
yeah,
what another thing is to that? Like what you're saying makes like total sense. And another reason like it's I would say it's valid is because if the only reason we say things are unlucky is because we compare it to other people. If you like
Exactly.
come to school and when you're walking on the sidewalk, a car drives on a puddle and splashes you, and you're the only one that got soaked, and everyone
Yeah.
else is like dry, you're gonna think you're unlucky because you're the odd one out. But if everyone got splashed,
Then
then you would say, "Oh, I guess that's how it is." I mean,
that's just
everyone got
how
the
it
same
is.
thing as
Yeah.
me. It's not lucky because the outcome happened a lot, making it common, which
Yeah.
doesn't make it rare, thus making
Luck
it
is
not really
one in a not a
luck.
one in a chance, but also
One in some chance, yeah.
I think luck should be referred to as just in the case of this a string of events that are in favor of someone or something, or just
Something, yeah.
or maybe they're just not in favor of anyone. It's just like
Or
they're
yeah,
all of
no,
the same
I guess
state of
you
the
you
same
could
type.
also call them unusual because there's something out of the
Yeah,
ordinary. Like it's
if
not
they're
like
all unusual events, or maybe you know what, it's a bunch of things that shouldn't keep, like it's just like you flip heads like 10 times in a row, you know.
yeah, yes, it's out of the ordinary. It's not
Yeah,
something you see every day.
but maybe it only becomes out of the ordinary because it happens so many times in succession. So
Yeah.
there was this interesting thing I don't know, it was like a long time ago in like middle school, right? uh and I was just like watching, I think it was like a Veritasium video, and he was just talking about I think he was talking about quantum entanglement, or okay, I think it was like that, and it was like when you know the position of one particle, right, in quantum entanglement, you automatically know the position of the other, like even though they could be billions of uh light years away, right? And obviously that means the information traveled faster than the speed of light, right? In fact, uh way faster, right? Because ordinarily it would take a billion light years for that to happen. But in this case, if you know these particles are quantumly entangled, so once one is positive in a positive like okay, when one is in the rotation and it's oriented towards the electric field, then you know the other one's oriented towards the magnetic field, or it was something like that, right? um in the context of electromagnetism. But so you know the state of the other thing when you know the state of this thing, right? So
Yeah.
that
I
that
guess
that
I get what you're saying.
that creates like a little bit of like a binary in this world. It's like if you know how like people say if you know all the state and the position of every particle in the universe, you could predict the future and you could create a model for everything that's happening, right? I mean,
Oh yeah, I see what you're
it
saying.
seems kind of obvious, obviously.
Yeah, it's like if you have like 99 pieces to a puzzle, you know where the last one's gonna go.
Yeah, exactly. No, actually, no, that's not even the case, because in the case of luck, it's something that could happen. That's very unlikely, but it could happen. Is just like, even there could be literally one particle that you haven't accounted for, and that particle could be the one that changes everything in the butterfly effect. uh right, so I don't think even you have to have you have to have the senses of every information piece in the world to ever have a full idea of what's going on, because regardless, then it's if you're missing out the smallest bit of information, you're dealing with relativity, um and it would be flawed. So going back to my original point, which was It didn't exist. I was hoping it would come out over here. Uh,
You were saying like if you know the location of one like object A, you can figure out
you will
the.
automatically. Oh, okay. So basically, yeah, you that information travels faster than the speed of light. But I'm saying in the context when it comes to luck, for that, uh, I forgot what role luck played in that. You know what?
But
You
no,
guys just build off what I
I
said.
kind of like understand what you're saying and how it would relate to the butterfly effect. And speaking of that,
Oh yeah, that's
if if somehow like I don't know how this would happen, and I don't know like the the chance that it can exist, but let's say you like you're transported all the way back, I don't know, like 10 years from now, right? Or 10 years in the past.
oh yeah,
You're taking
butterfly
10 years in
effect.
the
Yeah.
past, right? Would you change anything, or would you try to like leave everything as is?
Uh, have you watched? Have you watched the Psyche K episode concerning this?
Mm,
There was a
I
one with
think I
time
have,
travel.
but there's also there's like a lot of sci-fi science fiction TV shows that
That talk about
they
this. Yeah.
they basically like explain it in a very like I don't know like not like a funny and easier way.
Yeah.
It's basically like if you change something in the past, you can't really bring it your future back to the way it was, and it makes sense.
It's
Even if we
yeah.
can't like fully prove time travel yet, you can still justify that statement that if you change something in the past, even like a
Mhm.
small event, like maybe like one day, or how about this for school, for high school, you choose to buy a different laptop instead of the one you have. You can think, oh,
Yeah,
what is that going to affect? But it can affect your whole future
that's true.
because that's just how things play out. But anyways, if I were like taken in the 10 years in the past, I would probably try to like make everything play out just the way it like it played out in the other timeline.
But
But
you being there would mess it up
yeah,
regardless.
exactly. The funny thing is, it would still change. It would never be the same.
I
Like
read this.
once you like hit that like I don't know like go back in time one, all the luck like all the luck parameters they all change. You
Luck
can never make
parameters.
it the same, no matter what
Wait,
you
so
do.
your question was if you could change like the butterfly effect for certain situations, would you, right?
No,
I
no, no.
would
I'm
not.
saying if you went 10 years back in time, would you like use all the knowledge you have now and change events so you make better decisions, or would you just leave it as
Oh,
is
No.
and
oh,
take
I
those
see.
bad
Okay, okay.
decisions
I
and move
There
see
on?
the
could be,
argument you were
but
making.
at the
I,
same
I wouldn't
time,
do
right?
anything. I wouldn't. I would try to keep
Think
it
about it like
Yeah,
exactly the
this.
same.
Think about it like this, right?
because who knows what other problems that could create.
That something
Exactly.
like that
Even
could
if
have
one
already
problem
happened
Yeah,
in
fixes,
the
the other
past
one
anyways, and
more.
and it would, like, for example, something like that could have happened a billion years ago, and maybe that's literally why life happened. You know, maybe there was someone from a literal I don't know, like a universe that's like parallel to ours, and they traveled here, then went 5 billion years into the past of Earth. Well, not 5 billion years, because that's when there was a bunch of stuff hitting the Earth and it was very hot and life couldn't live. Like maybe like I don't know, billion years ago, right? And I read this thing, and it's like if you could literally go like a billion years in the past and just pee in a pool, in a puddle of water, and you change
Hmm.
this cycle of like life forever, because all the
Oh
proteins
yeah,
and
I see
all
what
the
you're
things
saying.
in your excretion.
Yeah, you're bringing future evolution into this new world, and that would obviously
Exactly.
change a bunch of stuff.
And
It
so
wouldn't happen instantly, but over time,
it,
yeah, things would
over a
definitely
billion
change.
years it would compound insanely. So like,
Like,
if something like that already happened, right? Then it, I mean, why wouldn't, if you being there is already gonna do something, then why wouldn't you just change it? I
no,
mean,
because
if you change it,
you
you wouldn't know it,
all the
right?
no, but all the problems that happened in the past, like let's say I don't know, like in middle school, for example, you got made fun of because you had I don't know, your hair looked funny. That problem eventually got solved. So why would you try to fix that if it already got solved in the future?
Yeah,
And
because what if your version of a fix ends up creating another
Another
problem
yeah,
where
problem.
because
you
But the
get
thing
if you
blamed for
is,
fix it,
something
you
else?
will create another problem
but
because
the
you're
thing is, I'm
basically
saying
it's
that's
like you're
basically how the
shifting
world is,
parameters.
anyways. That's how the world has already been constructed. So, I'm saying there's no point to really what you do, because there could have been a butterfly.
Oh,
There was a
so
butterfly
you're saying
effect.
if it's gonna change, you might as well change it all instead of changing a little bit, because it's
The
never
thing
gonna be
is,
the
it's
same.
always changing because of luck, right? There's always a butterfly effect set in motion from billions of years ago that might just be playing out right now as we speak, and might
Yeah,
finally
yeah, I
just be
get that.
coming into action.
Even if it happened like a long time ago, the outcome could start
The
now.
outcome
Even
literally,
there's
yeah,
like a
could be
huge gap,
perceivable now.
or like a build up, you could call it.
Yeah, exactly. It takes a long time to build up, and all of a sudden it just climaxes, and you're like, "Oh my god, there's something called COVID-19." That's a very stupid
I
example,
know
but
there's like all the small events that happen in our I don't know lives or in everyone's lives. It's such a they have such a big impact,
on
even
the
though it's
universe.
like
Yeah.
so small now. Like I don't know.
Everything, even if you think,
There's probably would you consider I don't know if it's like an infinite number of like different like I don't know lives you could live or like different versions of yourself if
yeah,
you like made different choices. It's not infinite because you're making choices with finite things, but it would
I'd
be
say
like
it's
a
the number
lot.
of particles there are in the universe. That's what
Yeah,
I'd
and
say.
if that's not infinite, it's a big number. You wouldn't call it infinite, but it's a
Yeah, it's
really
an
really
insanely
really
big
big
number. Yeah,
number.
that's the amount of
That's
different
really
realities there could be, and that's why I also think that's how many
the funny
parallel
thing is
universes
all
are.
those choices because there's so many choices you can make that because the choices are so small that they're so easy to change. So you could just change a bunch of the small choices
It
and end up with different
it doesn't
realities.
matter what you change because each reality is always an accumulation of small choices regardless, right? There's been big choices, there's been small choices, and that will never change. There's always been people who decided to go at war against a country, and there's always been people who decided not to eat that one croissant, and it messed up all of history. And you don't know what happened because you know what, that's just the world we live in. We don't know why if someone didn't freaking, I don't know, like flick away a ladybug, maybe we wouldn't be born. That seems so completely
Yeah.
unrelated, but like I'm just trying to put it into perspective that it doesn't matter. So, and I'm not saying I'm not saying like when I said you may as well change it all. Like I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if something's gonna change, you may as well change it all. I'm just saying that you the world is always an accumulation of choices anyways and little things, and no matter what you do there's always going to be some very small lucky or unlucky thing that happens in the world. So, and perhaps you going there was simply very unlucky because it was a result of a butterfly effect as well because of this conversation maybe, so
Yeah, exactly. You don't even know what
you don't even
the
know
influence you
what.
have on other people.
Yeah.
It could be like wait, what if like because since like you were saying like because everything is made up of choices and we're basically like we have no knowledge what those choices
Yeah,
can
can
cause or the
result
outcome
in
of those choices. So no, but the thing is, even if you like gave a device to every human on Earth and you told them, okay,
do
this is
this.
it's basically a device that can read the future or give you the answers to the future. What's gonna
Uh-huh.
happen tomorrow, the next day, the next year. I think even if you gave everyone that device, it would still cause chaos
Because that
because
device itself is
everyone
the chaos now.
because everyone has different like I don't know, not like hopes or ideas or basically perspectives of different futures. So they would all fight amongst one another and form groups with
Okay,
people
but
that have a
let's
similar
talk about
future
it
because
in an abstract sense
everyone's
then.
like future wants to be the same. So let's say I don't know, in a few years from now, the device says that there's going to be a company that I don't know revolutionizes electric cars and it causes them to be like I don't know much more abundant on the roads. But let's
Tesla
say that you own like a you own you're like
gas engine,
like I don't know you own like an oil rig and that's gonna cause your business
business to
to
collapse. Yeah.
I don't know it's just gonna be competition so you wouldn't want that future. But then there's a lot of people that want the environment to improve would like that future and you wouldn't and then again that would cause chaos and people would choose sides and whatnot. But
But
no
if we
matter what you
discuss
do, I
it
think
in a
chaos is like a constant in the
in oh yeah,
universe.
entropy,
It's kind of
all things in this
it's something
universe.
you can't really change. There's always going to be chaos. You
Exactly,
can't have like
chaos.
100% order
That's
no
such an
matter what
important
you
thing you
do.
just mentioned. Entropy. Everything in the like there was like this uh I forgot what it's called. I think it was thermodynamics. There was like this thermodynamics experiment, right? And what they found was like basically all things there's entropy in all things, and entropy is basically like it's like mathematical chaos. Like not exactly like it's just like chaos, but it's a scientific way of saying it, I guess. Right?
Hmm.
Some people who know better than me are probably like going mad at me right now, but like I forgot. Okay, and so everything in this universe tries to is slowly reverting to a state of entropy, right? I mean, like the universe started off as a singularity. I mean, that's what we think of as the Big Bang, right? And now it's eventually going into a state of like, it's expanding, it's getting bigger, and now there's all these beings who call themselves humans and all this
Yeah,
on Earth.
live on a floating rock and
Yeah, there's
whatnot,
all
whatever.
this stuff that has happened, and because I mean, the universe could have just stayed as it was. It could have just stayed as that singularity, but it just came out as this big thing that we think is infinite, right? Or maybe it is. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter for this conversation. But I'm saying like everything is just trying to get into a state of final and utmost chaos. And final and utmost chaos is technically the least amount of chaos because all that build up before the chaos is the chaos. It's all the things that are unpredictable. But once you're in a
Yeah,
final state of chaos, everything is so unpredictable that the only thing that is predictable is that it will be unpredictable. You know, that sounds
I get that.
pretty
Yeah,
complicated, but like yeah,
makes sense.
everything is revert. And where did I cut you off again when I talked about entropy?
No,
You
I
said
no, it
chaos.
was just like I basically I ended my like thought process there, but I was basically saying that chaos is one constant in the universe that will never change. It's something
Yeah,
you that's just static.
luck and the reversion of this universe to a complete state of chaos is always the case. So if that's the case, maybe luck is infinitely increasing because if that's chaos, right? If there's utmost
Yeah,
final chaos, right?
and
Then
and,
maybe
and the thing is, chaos occurs regardless of like I don't know like life or
regardless,
living beings.
it just
You can
happens.
even see yeah you can even see it in like a chemical bond. Like if something is losing, I guess if something is losing matter or like a particle or something, if something is
Mhm.
gaining a particle, you could call that I don't know that kind of like symbolizes theft, and that's also chaos.
Yeah, yeah.
Even
The
though it like
the
produces
particle losing
order,
its yeah,
it still symbolizes chaos,
like
and
the
that's
you
something that will kind
like
of
there's
just
black
you can't
holes.
really have the universe without chaos because the universe was like an explosion itself, and
Yeah,
that's pretty
the
chaotic.
only reason we exist is because chaos. If there was no chaos, then the universe would be that infinite infinitesimally small point. Um,
Yeah, it would just be like one point on like a plane or like
yeah,
a line even,
but
or it
infinitely
could
small.
just be
No, it would
one
not be a
point with
line.
nothing else.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's cool. We could talk about that later. Like, if the universe was a point, then how did it come into these dimensions, into the three dimensions? Like, we can
Yeah,
see.
I don't know how you would make a dimension, but that's something
Yeah,
we could
I
talk about
just
in
that's
future.
cool. We should think about that. So wait, Aryan, you want anything to add?
No, not really. I mean, you guys have basically covered it. I don't know. I think that like yeah, I have no idea, honestly. You guys have basically covered everything.
Hmm.
I have nothing to add, really. Oh, here's a question for you though. A little bit ago, you were talking about something about like uh how if a teacher decides to mark you good for one day, though, you're like, oh, that's kind of lucky, right? I don't know
Uh
if you
huh.
remember that,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it
right?
was George who
At the
said it.
start.
Do you think so? When I heard that, I was like, I don't think that's luck. I think that's just bias, to be honest. Like just
No,
one
But that
day.
bias
bias
came as a
forms of
result
luck.
of the
Okay,
luck.
right. So that leads on to my question. Do you think luck and bias have to do with each other, or are they two completely different things?
Bias is a side effect of luck. It occurs
Yeah,
because
everything in
something
this world
unlucky
is a
happened.
result of luck.
Like
Uh,
okay, let's say that the bias is like this. Let's say that somehow. So wait, okay, let's say that for example, like let's I don't know, make it like a simple situation. Let's say that there's like student A, right? And this student brings cupcakes every day for the teacher. Or
like
not every day, but let's
cupcakes.
say they bring them cupcakes or something, right? The teacher likes it and she marks him or her easier. Student B doesn't do that, and again, Mark gets not lower, but at the baseline, like what it should be. But student A gets a bonus. And why
Hmm.
does student A get that bias? Because someone in his family is a baker,
Yeah,
and student B doesn't
and
have a
this
baker in its
family
family.
person became
That's
a
luck.
baker because
Something in this, I
various
don't know, it's one of
things,
their
and it
relatives,
started
or they
off
got
from a very
inspired to
small
do
thing.
so, and that's luck that probably
I mean, think
originated
about it like
from
this: the
thousands of
ultimate
years ago.
example of luck in this universe is that it also started from a insanely small point, and now it's this. That's the biggest
Exactly.
probability. That's the biggest example of luck you can have. It
It's
just
it's
came
it's
out this way.
if you could calculate like the chance that we're all alive on Earth right now, it's probably infinitesimally small. Everything had to occur at the right speed at the right
Yeah,
time, and everything had to like
but yeah,
I'm pretty
exactly.
sure
It's
that,
so
that like life
perfect.
started because like I don't remember exactly from my geography class, but again like you said there was a time on Earth when everything was just like really hot, and
Yeah,
then there were like a few like Earth had like meteor showers like
yeah, exactly.
basically
And there was one with
it was like
water
its
on it.
normal weather, and one of them had life in it from
Yeah, well,
somewhere.
water, not life, water.
Oh yeah, sorry. And then again, you can call that like a change. But if that one meteor did not have that substance in it, nothing would
Then
exist. No life would
exactly, and
exist.
that
Or maybe
that compound
it would occur later when
maybe,
because if time was infinite, and it's probably not because the universe will definitely it has like a limit to it because it's a finite substance. But
Is it?
If it like occurred slightly later, then our reality would be completely different. Maybe we would
Exactly.
find a different substance.
Because our solar
Like
system
one
would be
thing could
different
be
by
like
then too.
our periodic table that we have would also probably look different because maybe there's substances we wouldn't have discovered,
Yeah,
and
maybe as
there's
a
probably
result, we
gaps.
wouldn't have the same base 10 decimal digit system, because we have
Exactly,
10
and then
fingers.
that
Possibly.
cascades to a bunch of different things.
But I mean,
Yeah.
at the end, the
This all
perfect
started from
state of math is
like a
binary.
conversation of bias. It's crazy how it got this big, but that's
Exactly.
I guess
That's another example of
that's
That's
literally just
literally
luck
just how
itself.
it is. Yeah, that's just how it is sometimes.
this only happened because of some guy uploaded a YouTube video and some kid watched it, and then that's why it came into this. And yeah, I mean, so many things can result out of the smallest things, and maybe I was thinking like I've thought about this like maybe every this is every particle in the universe has as many states possible as many particles there are in the universe,
Yeah, wait,
squared.
no, but then you're basically like saying that every particle that exists right now,
Hmm.
there's no more possible outcomes. Like let's say that there's three particles. One is red, one is green, one is blue.
Yeah,
Does that mean that there's never going to be a purple particle? Then you're basically ruling out the outcome because it doesn't exist yet in
yeah.
this time. But like another event could happen that could cause it to happen. But right now, I guess you could say that its luck is again
And a
like a one
world
out of
is
three
just
chance.
that. Like
Yeah, exactly.
so if you had like 1,000 particles, and then you wanted to calculate how many states of, and maybe our universe was 1,000 particles, right? And
Yeah.
let's just say human, like just let's just keep our standard, like refer to the universe as the way it is right now, but maybe it just has a million particles instead for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It's maybe the
Simpler,
particles
but
are just bigger. I don't know. Doesn't make sense scientifically, but whatever for the sake of this example. So then there'd be 1,000. There's 1,000 particles, but if they can all interact with each other, right? So
Mhm.
particle 000 can uh, uh have have some do something with particle 001, or it could do something with particle 999, or it could do something with all of the particles, or it could do something with none of the particles, or it could do
Yeah.
so there's and if you calculate that, I'm pretty sure it would be 1,000 squared, right? If I think about it,
Mhm.
I think it would be a million. So if that means that there's a million different states of the universe, right? Or oh no, it's 1,000 to the power of 1,000. So if there's whatever that number is, states of this universe
It's
that we have, right?
it's insanely big.
It's very big, but
But
so
no, but then again, then you could bring like the concept of time into it because like I don't know, like the more simple explanation would be like if you flip a coin three times and you get heads every time, that doesn't mean heads is 100% chance. The
yeah,
more you flip it, the more
the less
time you take to
likely it
flip
is.
it or get outcomes, yeah,
Not
the
less likely.
closer it gets to 50-50. It gets
Yeah, the
closer to
close.
50-50 every time you flip it. And
If you
that's the
flip a
same thing
coin, yeah,
with the particle thing you were talking about. Maybe like
that's
for the first like the early time or like let's say the when you press like I don't know like the start button on whatever you're doing, like let's say it's a stimulation or something, I don't know, like 2 seconds in, maybe it was if you pause it and then get your results off that, it would be really it wouldn't be valid because you're not giving it enough time for the
infinite.
outcomes to
Yeah,
I don't know like calibrate or whatever. But
for there to
if you
be
give
like
it
an
more time,
actual.
then it would eventually get to the probability of 1,000 to the power of 1,000.
Yeah,
But before
exactly.
that, you could basically just give it time. And
Yeah, you can't just have
still,
two
even if
coin
you gave it
flips.
a lot of time, like I don't know, like let's say like a million years, it still wouldn't get that close. It would get very close, but it wouldn't be fully exact
Yeah, you
yet.
can
It
never
would
get
still
it
take a
exact.
long time.
Yeah, and
You,
and
it's just basically
realistically, you
it's
can
like
never get
close
exact.
enough. Yeah, I guess
It's always gonna be
I
like
forgot.
40. That's why
Yeah,
there's a
I think it's like
49.99% heads,
yeah,
49,
that's the.
and then
I think it's we learned this in school as well. It's like theoretical and practical probability. I
oh,
forgot the name of
probability
it,
and
but
plausibility.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. There's because you can't a coin flip when you calculate it, you can't ever get it to be 50-50 again unless you do it like. I mean, you technically can. Let's say you flip it twice and you get heads and tails, but
Mm-hmm.
then if you flip it again, it would change. So you're
Uh,
always it's just gonna it's gonna approach it's gonna approach
it's gonna
50, but it will
approach
never be
50%
exactly
on each
50.
side. Yeah, exactly. You could flip a coin twice and it'll be oh heads and heads. Or you're like oh okay, so that means heads is 100% chance. Well, obviously no, that's not the case. Maybe you do it a million times. You're like oh okay 500,000. It's like maybe it's like 499. 1,882 heads, and then the other one for tails, right? Because things like
Yeah.
that just happen in life. Maybe the coin slightly manufactured that one side is a little bit heavier than the other, or
Yeah,
maybe
exactly. And then you could influence the luck on that side and say that
exactly.
okay, this side is heavier because this machine was faulty on this day because the maintenance worker didn't come for this reason and this
Yeah.
reason was because he was sick.
And
Then
perhaps
again,
this particle, the binary, not the binariness, because it's the binariness of it, because it's only two states. Whichever state it is, the state of this experiment, when like maybe you flipped it a billion times, but you only measure it
yeah,
after the end of the billion states. And if it's, I don't know, if it's heads, you launch a nuclear strike, and if it's tails, you don't. That's a very
exactly.
boom. And then
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a very like different outcome. Very extreme, but
yeah, it's just to put things. I think we've covered it though.
I think we've covered
I
all the
mean,
topics for today, no? Do we have anything else?
All you got?
I mean, if you're still wondering how extreme like luck is, I mean, you can take everything we've said in this episode as an example. I mean, we've basically connected it to how like basically the universe in general. So I mean, if you're still wondering, how much luck really plays an influence on your life, well, there you have it.
Mm-hmm.
If we were able to connect it to the universe by just a conversation, I think that's a good enough measure. But I mean, we're not at the 40-minute mark yet. So if anyone, we're like a good 5 minutes, 4 minutes away. So I mean,
I
if you guys want to
the
add
the
stuff,
reason
we have lots
I
of time.
think this would probably be the best time to end it off because we've talked about everything and we would
We're
just be
starting
repeating
to,
ourselves.
yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Okay,
we've got
so
all the content, so I think we're good.
all right, so thank you guys for watching. All our social media and stuff will be linked in the description of if you're watching on Spotify, then there, and if you're watching on YouTube, there, I guess. Um, yeah, our next episode will probably be out the Sunday after this because they just come out every Sunday, and that's about it. Bye.
Yeah.